Red beans and rice is a dish that I had many times when I was growing up in Louisiana. It's spicy and savory. It's rich. It's got some smoky andouille sausage in it. That is a new ingredient to me. I found it on the Mountain House website, and I'll be letting you know exactly what I think about it. I had initially made this as a just add water meal in a jar, but I'm probably not going to recommend you do the same, and I'll let you know why. But the recipe itself is super delicious, and I hope you give it a try. Well, hi there, everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. A friend of mine had texted me and said, "You saw that Mountain House has come out with andouille sausage, right?" And I was like, "What?" I was so excited to see this ingredient. I looked at it and I thought, oh, I'm never going to afford that. It was like $99 or something. And I thought, yeah, okay, well, maybe not. But y'all, they had a half off of their proteins at some point, and I grabbed a can. I was so excited to get that in the mail and to put together this Cajun recipe for you. I love Cajun food. I have for many, many years. It's because we lived there in Louisiana when I was growing up for like 4.5 years, and we got some fantastic recipes from some friends, and my mom made the best Cajun food. Anyway, so I've converted a lot of her recipes into meals in jars, like freeze-dried, yummy, delicious, legitimate Cajun recipes I have on my channel. And I thought this ingredient right here is going to be a game changer because I could add it to my gumbo recipe. I could add it to my jambalaya. I could put it in my Cajun chicken pasta. So in my mind, I had all these possible scenarios running through, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to like revolutionize my channel. So I opened it up, tasted it, and immediately fell in love. So I went ahead and I put together this recipe in a jar. I'm using the andouille sausage, the instant freeze-dried Thrivalist red beans, the holy trinity of Cajun cooking, which is onions, green bell pepper, and celery, and then a bunch of seasonings, Cajun seasonings and spices, and just going to make it really, really flavorful. I put this whole thing together, and I was so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I was to bring this to you. And then after I had cooked it, after I had taken pictures, after I was completely obsessed with everything about it, then I read the back of the can, and I was so disappointed to learn that they do not recommend the use of this freeze-dried sausage for meals in jars. Not to say that you can't make a delicious meal from this. You certainly can. I mean, I did. This is amazing. And I will put the recipe below, and you can make the same recipe if you buy that ingredient, or you could make the base of this recipe and add fresh andouille sausage to it if you don't have the freeze-dried version. I read the back of the can, and it says right there in black and white in plain English that once you open the can, they recommend that you use it immediately. I was thinking, what? What are you talking about? Use immediately? Who opens a number 10 can of freeze-dried food and uses the whole thing immediately? I don't know, there's like 20 servings in there or something like that. I don't know anybody that cooks like that. Most people who are using the freeze-dried food for everyday cooking are doing it because of the lack of food waste that comes along with using freeze-dried ingredients. So I'm just going to say, I think I've figured out like this is what I'm going to be doing with it. If you end up buying that ingredient and using it yourself, you're going to have to make a decision about food safety for yourself. And that is very important. And I'm not going to make a recommendation for you. I'm going to say, this is what I do. Okay. This is what Kareth does in Kareth's kitchen. So you have to decide what you're going to do in yours. But what I'm going to do with this is I am going to pop it in the freezer, okay? And then I'm going to pull that out and use a serving or two at a time whenever I am making a recipe of mine. For instance, when I am making my chicken gumbo and I get that going on the stove, I'm going to pull out that can of andouille sausage and I'm going to add like half a cup to my recipe on the stove. And that's how I'm going to handle it. I think some people might be comfortable repackaging that and vacuum sealing it. It's totally up to you how you handle that. I might make this red beans and rice recipe again and put everything else in the jar and keep it on my shelf. But I'm going to keep the andouille sausage in the freezer. So basically what I did was I added like 3.5 cups of water. I just needed enough for 2 people. And it was like 2 good size servings, 2 big servings. And so I added about 3.5 cups of water. I ended up adding just a smidge extra water because I wanted a little bit more sauce. I let it simmer on the stove for probably 20 minutes while I cooked that rice. That's it. Like, it cooks in about 20-25 minutes. The instant red beans that I have from Thrive, that's like the last of my red beans from Thrive. So I have ordered some more from somewhere on Amazon. I'll link to it below. I can't remember who it was, but I did order some more instant red beans. That's very important if you want it to be done in like 20-25 minutes. We always serve this over plain white rice and would garnish it with just some green onions, maybe a little dash of Louisiana hot sauce if you're feeling super spicy. The flavor is just incredible. In fact, those andouille sausage, those little slices, I would have eaten those straight out of the can. They are very, very good, and they are super spicy. Red beans and rice is a very comforting dish. It's like simple food. It's nothing complicated. You can make it as spicy or as mild as you like. It depends on what seasonings you put in there. I like a good bit of Cajun spice in mine, so I'm going to write the recipe down below and I'll tell you exactly how much of the seasonings I put in there. I'll tell you what brand I use, all of that. So if you want a really zingy, spicy, flavorful red beans and rice, you can follow that recipe exactly. And then you feel free to customize it according to your spice palette. So what we typically did was we made the rice on the side. We made the rice separately, and then you can control like the ratio you want of your rice to red beans. If I was going to give a rating, like a 1 to 10 rating on the andouille sausage itself, on taste, it's a 10 out of 10. It's like, what? It is fantastic. So delicious. Spicy, yummy. Okay, if I'm going to give it a rating on convenience as far as freeze-dried food ingredients goes, I'm going to say like 2 out of 10, because who is going to use an entire number 10 can of sausage at the same time? I mean, it defeats the purpose of having the freeze-dried ingredients, unless you're feeding like an army or something. So anyway, yeah, I'm disappointed in that, but I have figured out what is going to be a workaround for me. And so I just wanted to make sure and share that with you. I'm sorry I just rambled today, but I wanted to make sure that I communicated to you how delicious this sausage is, but also how completely devastated I was and disappointed in the serving suggestion that they have there. And I'm sure they're doing it because of the fat content in the sausage itself. It's probably all for our safety. And so, I mean, I'll say I do appreciate that. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for, putting up with me today, listening to my rantings. If you decide to try this, I hope you have great success. I do have a scripture verse of the day for you. This comes from John chapter 1, I'll read verse 14 and then verse 16. And it says, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. Glory as the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. For from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, a fantastic week. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.